Just because she didn't see your face doesn't mean you can't attract her. Imagine you're walking down a corridor and a woman behind you can only see your back. You can still attract her. I'm going to teach you how to in this video, so make sure you give your full attention to this video. Build your traps. This just gives detail to your physique and it makes your back a lot more defined. It makes sure that she actually has something to look at. And most men don't train it. This means you're going to be ahead of them. She's going to see your traps. And it's quite a dominant muscle. It's quite a masculine, strong muscle. So she's going to see your traps. And she's going to know that you're ahead of most men. But your traps are quite peculiar. Unlike most muscles, where you can train them and keep on growing them, and you can always have the goal of making them bigger. Your traps are the muscle that you don't really want to get too big. There's quite a specific limit with your traps. You never want to go over that limit, because then it starts to look very weird. I'll try and find a picture to show you of someone with quite big traps, and it looks quite odd for their physique. But this doesn't mean that you should be scared to grow your traps, because when you do grow them, you'll already get a good understanding of how big you want them to be. If you're training your traps to go along with this doesn't tie into your back, but it ties into traps. If you're training your traps, you must train your neck. If you don't, it looks very weird because you've got a tiny neck but you have big traps. It looks oddly masculine but unmasculine at the same time. So make sure you're training your neck along with your traps. Your neck's the same thing with your traps, where you don't want them to be too big. It can actually cause sleep issues with training your neck too much. It causes sleep apnea. So you don't want to be above 16 inches for your neck. You don't want it to be the size, the width of 16 inches. V-taper. This is spoken about a lot, so you've probably heard it before, either from me or from someone else. I'm sure you've heard of the V-taper before. If not, that's fine. This is the physique shape that you want. It's the most admirable physique shape. Both men and women will give you attention for this. Women, sexually, and men, they just give you some attention for status. It's just a bit of respect from men. And both, quite weirdly, subconsciously do this. They both don't realise that they're doing it. Women don't realise that they're admiring and lusting over your physique shape. And men don't realise that they give you the respect because of your physique shape. But the reason why you want to get this physique shape is because it's powerful, seductive, and it's very masculine. It's going to be the foundation for your physique as well. If you get a lot of muscle, it's going to just be big. It's not going to be toned. It's not going to be shaped and sculpted properly. So how do we get this physique shape? Well, the muscles that really emphasize it and create it is your lats, your shoulders, and also your waist. Specifically for your shoulders, you want to target the lateral head. It's only the outside muscles that you're targeting, which is why you don't target your scapula to grow your V-taper. So starting off with your lats. Your lats are the biggest muscle in your back. So you want to target them by doing wide movements. This is a wide grip pull-up, wide grip seated row. You get the gist. But also, something that no one really speaks about is pullovers. This is when you get a dumbbell, you lie on a bench, flat, and you put your arms on the back of your head, or up past your head, with a dumbbell in your hands, and you pull your arms over to about your chest, or where you would do bench. Where you do a bench, you pull to there, just there. You don't need to go too far back or too far forward. It's quite a specific range of motion as well, because when you get to a certain point, you start to target your chest. It's not a problem, but it's just a waste of energy. You're going to target your waist by training your lower abs, your rectus abdominis. Don't target your obliques to get your V taper. It's just going to make you bulky. There's a lot of controversy at the moment about if you're going to be bulky from obliques. I'm looking more into it. I'm doing tests myself just to see if it's actually based on how you train your obliques rather than just training them in total. But I don't have that data, that knowledge at the moment. So for the time being, don't train your abs. Don't train your obliques. Train your rectus abdominis, your lower abs. And you can train your upper abs, but it doesn't help your V-taper. The reason why you train your lower abs specifically is because it means that you're going to have a more narrow, tighter waist, really exaggerating the V-taper look. And for shoulders, do a lot of lateral raises. For this exercise, it doesn't mean to neglect other shoulder exercises. It just means that this shoulder exercise should definitely be in your routine. Build your scapula. This muscle is in the center of your back. It's on either side of your spine and it'll come out when you train it. It's going to make sure that your back is symmetrical. Over time, from picking things up, lifting heavy weights with one hand, you're most likely going to have an uneven and unsymmetrical back. This is just because you're more dominant with one hand, you're more right-handed or you're more left-handed. So you're going to do more work on one side rather than the other. But when you train your scapula, it's going to make sure that you're really trying to even out how much each side is, like the size of each side. You're going to make sure that it's even. This is going to make sure that your back isn't unproportional. It's all perfect. Trying to get a perfect look. Even down to the details in your back, like your scapula. I'm not too sure why this is, but women love when a man has a detailed back. It could come down to things like it just makes the back more emphasized. There's just more to notice and more to look at the back. Not too sure why. I'll try and find out. But just from knowing that women like to have a man with a detailed back, then you should train your back to be more detailed. And that's what the scapula is great for. Your scapula is just another muscle to add to your back. Loads of people miss it. So because it's quite unheard of, I'll tell you how to train it. It's very simple. You're going to do shrugs, but from a bar. Hang on the bar and just shrug your shoulders. It's that simple. Just shrug them down. Pull downwards. Instead of pulling with your elbows, pull at your shoulders, and that trains your scapula. Finishing off a video, I'm going to finish with engaging for detail. Every time you limit your muscle, it usually comes down to ROM, range of motion. This means that the full rep, which is the full range of a exercise, isn't being carried out. Best example, biceps, doing curls. You have the full curl. I'll just demonstrate. So you have a full curl. But then, most people don't do a full curl. They'll just curl some of the way. This is still going to stimulate growth because it's still tension on the muscle. But they're massively losing out on gains, and this adds up over time, and they're going to be left behind. So to make sure that you're not being left behind, you need to make sure that you're getting a full range of motion. This only applies for your clean reps rather than your point reps, partial reps. For your clean reps, which is the full range of motion, make sure you actually are doing the full range of motion. The best way to find out how much effort and if you're limiting yourself on your reps is by doing exercise, more of a mind exercise, which is mind to muscle connection. This is very easy for your chest because your hands can hold your chest. So, for an example, the way I found out mind to muscle connection is from doing cables. I was training upper chest and I just thought, my upper chest isn't growing. The rest of my chest is growing very well. So that means it must be my form. Usually, your form's off. It's not really about the weight because the rest of my muscle, the rest of my chest was growing from the reps and weight I was using. So it came down to my form. So what I done to make sure I had perfect form was I put my hand on top of my upper chest and I just carried out the movement. Doing the exercise with my hand on my chest let me know how engaged my chest was. And you can do the same for almost every exercise. If you can't do it for, let's say, your lats, because it's at the back, and usually if you use both hands for an exercise, like in your lats, just ask someone in the gym if they can just put the hand on the muscle so you can feel the muscle tense. You usually get used to training and without actually feeling how much tension is on the muscle, especially after training past 3-4 months. You just start to mindlessly train because you're in a routine. So when you start to actually really pay a lot of attention to your details of how you're training, that's when you're going to start making more progress because you start to change the imperfections with your routine. You start to correct your form properly. You start to make sure that you're doing exercises, full exercise that you're not doing. If the information in this video has helped you, make sure to check out Ethan Higgins 001 on Instagram, and my bio there is where you can go to my community and find my paid information like this. I can also help you with one-to-one coaching calls there. It's a bit more money, but it's worth the time. Goodbye.